Friends, so in this class we are going to learn a new topic, students, that is band theory of semiconductors, and after that we are going to learn the types of semiconductors. Okay, so students, you all know what a conductor is, what an insulator is, and what is this semiconductor. This semiconductor lies in between that of a conductor and an insulator. So at low temperatures it has no conductivity, or it has least conductivity properties, and at room temperature and above it shows conductivity properties. That's why it is called as a semiconductor. Okay students, you know right what a conductor and what an insulator is. Okay, so semiconductor is the one which lies or which is the intermediate stage between conductor and insulator. Okay, so now what is this band theory? Band theory, first before that, students, do you remember in the intermediate stage we have studied MO theory? What is MO theory? Molecular orbital theory. Okay, so this band theory is based on MO theory, that is molecular orbital theory, which tells us that metals possess atoms, and these atoms produce or can form molecules, and the molecules can form molecular orbitals. So two types of molecular orbitals are being formed, students. They are bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals. Okay, so if we observe the bonding molecular orbitals in a metal, how they are arranged, they are closely packed to one another, students. So to look at all the bonding molecular orbitals, as they are very close to one another, it looks like, or it appears like a single band. Okay, so which appears like a single band, and this band we call it as the valence band. Shortly we call it as VB, students. Okay, next coming to anti-bonding molecular orbitals, these are also closely packed and they appear like a single band called as a conduction band. Shortly we call it as a CV. Now, so this is the diagrammatic representation, students. So between this VB and CB, there lies a forbidden gap, and that gap we call it as the energy gap. What is the significance of this energy gap, students? This tells us, or this is the measure, or this tells us the amount of energy required to bring the electrons from VB to CB. So this flow of electrons is nothing but it tells us the conductivity of the metal, students. Okay, so if this energy gap is very small, then the electrons from VB can jump easily to CB. That means we can say that it has a high conductivity. And if we observe a semiconductor will have a completely filled valence band and an empty conduction band. Now, as the temperature increases, what happens, students? The electrons from VB, they jump into conduction band. So from this we can say that as temperature increases, the conductivity also increases. So this is the general introduction of band theory of semiconductor, students. Okay, so what did we learn under this? We have seen semiconductor is the stage which lies in between conductor and an insulator. So at low temperatures it behaves as an insulator. At room temperature and above it behaves as a conductor. So that's why it's named as a semiconductor. Now what is this band theory? It is based on MO theory. MO theory tells us that the metals possess atoms, and atoms can produce molecules. These molecules can produce molecular orbitals. Two types of molecular orbitals are being formed, that is bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals. So all the bonding molecular orbitals, they appear like a single band. How? Because they are closely packed and they form the valence band. And the antibonding molecular orbitals, they are closely packed and they appear like a single band and they form the conduction band. So here lies between VB and CB a forbidden gap called as the energy gap, which tells us the amount of energy required to bring the electrons from VB to CB. So in a semiconductor, VB is completely filled and CB is empty, and as temperature increases, electrons flow easily from valence band to conduction band. We say that from this, as temperature increases, conductivity also increases. So now let us see the classification of semiconductor, students. Put the side heading, types of semiconductors. Types of semiconductors. So we have two types of semiconductor, students. First one is intrinsic semiconductors and the second one is extrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so first we will learn about intrinsic semiconductors. Students, please put the side heading intrinsic semiconductors and underline the side heading intrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so if we look at these intrinsic semiconductors, generally, students, these are extremely pure, that means without any impurities. For example, silicon, germanium having 4 valency electrons come under intrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so they are crystalline in their structure and they contain 4 valency electrons. Students, what is the meaning of 4 valency electrons? That means each atom can form 4 covalent bonds with the adjacent atoms. Okay, so that's the meaning 4 valency electrons means. Okay, so introduction about intrinsic semiconductor, students. Please write down, they are extremely pure. They are extremely pure. Example, silicon, germanium, etc. Next is they contain 4 valency electrons. 4 valency electrons, that is each atom can form 4 covalent bonds with the adjacent atoms and they have crystalline structures, or they are crystalline, you can write simply. Okay, next. So how do an intrinsic semiconductor conduct electricity? So let us observe, let us learn, or let us look into the conductivity of an intrinsic semiconductor. So what happens, students? When on heating, suppose take germanium, and if we heat it, what happens? The valency electrons. Where are the valency electrons, students? Generally, they are present in the valence band. Okay. So, the few valency electrons, what happens? They jump into the conduction band. So, in the valency electrons jump into the conduction band means the bond will be broken. Students, for a bond to form, how many electrons are required? 2 electrons are required. Okay. So, when the metal is heated, what happens? The electrons which are involved in the bond formation, they jump with the heat they receive. They jump into the conduction band from valence band. That means that bond will be broken immediately when the valence electron jump into the conduction band. So, that bond is broken means what happens? A positively charged hole will be created at that atom, students. Okay. Now, see, this bond is broken. So, one of the electrons which is involved in the bond formation, it is jumped into the conduction band. So, the positive charge is formed. It will not remain like that. That positive charge, that doesn't remain, that is not stick to one atom, students. So, what happens immediately? Wherever there is a positive charge formed, that will accept an electron, or that will take an electron from the adjacent atom. That means there the bond will be broken, and it takes this atom where the positive charge is formed, it takes up the electron from the next atom, and here in the place of the broken bond, a new bond is formed, and there the bond will be broken. That means the positive charge is moving from this atom to the next atom, students. Okay. So, a new bond is formed. Here the bond is, I will show you. I am not trying to explain you in the air. So, if you write these points, next I will show you the diagram, students. Okay. So this wherever the bond is broken, a positive charge is formed. It moves to the next atom. How does it move? This atom accepts the or takes up the electron from the next atom. So a new bond is formed. That means this positive charge is moving to the next atom. So like that, what happens, students? The positive charge is moving throughout the entire crystal structure. First, what happened? When we heated the metal, the electrons which are involved in the bond formation, the valence electrons which are involved in the bond formation, they jump into the conduction band. That means the existing covalent bond is broken, a positive charge is formed. Now this positive charge moves to the next atom by accepting an electron from the next atom. So like that, a new bond is formed. There the bond will be broken. There a positive charge will be formed. Like that, the positive charge, again the same process repeats. So throughout the entire crystal structure, the positively charged holes will be moving. First, what did you see? Valence electron jumping into Cb. Next, positive charge moving throughout the entire crystal structure. Okay. So students, this is the I have taken for example germanium, the example under intrinsic semiconductor. So it has 4 valency electrons with which it can form 4 covalent bonds. Okay. So this side 1, this side 1, this side 1 and this side 1. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 electrons. Now students, each atom can form 4 covalent bonds with the adjacent atoms. Now what did I tell you? When the metal is being heated, the valency electrons, they jump into the conduction band. Now the valency electron which is involved in the bond formation with this atom, so these electrons, they move towards the conduction band on heating immediately when they receive some heat or when they are subjected to heat. The valency electrons, they are involved in the bond formation. Now these valency electrons, after receiving some heat, they move towards the conduction band from valence band. Now this electron, when it moves towards the conduction band, here it will be, the bond will be broken, students. Now this electron is not here. It has moved towards the conduction band. So when the bond is broken, what happens? A hole will be formed. A hole means a positive charge will be formed. Okay. Now this positive charge, I will not sit here only with this germanium atom. It is not like that. So this positive charge moves towards this next atom by accepting an electron. Okay. Now it takes up the electron. So again a new bond is formed. Here the bond will be broken and this positive charge will come here. Next, this takes up an electron from this atom. This takes up an electron like this. This positive charge will be moving throughout the entire crystal structure. So, when did this happen? After receiving some heat, the valence electrons which are present in the valence band, which are involved in the bond formation, they move towards the conduction band, because of which the existing covalent bond is broken and there is no bond here, students. Hence a positive charge is formed. This positive charge will be moving towards the next atom by accepting an electron. So this takes up an electron from here. So again an electron comes here, a new bond is formed. Here the bond will be broken. So this germanium, what it does? It takes up the electron from here. So like that, the positive charge will be moving throughout the structure. Now such germanium, when we connect this to an electrical circuit or when an electric field is applied, what happens? The valency electrons present which are moved towards the conduction band, the electrons in the conduction band, they move towards anode, and the positive holes present in the valence band, they move towards cathode. So this is how it conducts the electricity, students. Thus in an intrinsic semiconductor, electricity is carried by the electrons present in the conduction band and the positively charged holes present in the valence band. So finally, this sentence is very much important, students, and write down and also see this diagram is just for your information, students. You need not draw it. or you did not show it in the examination paper. Okay, just write down the points. So when an electric field is applied, electrons in Cb move towards anode and positively charged holes in the valence band move towards cathode. Finally, in an intrinsic semiconductor, electricity is carried by the electrons present in the conduction band and the positively charged holes present in the valence band. So second type is the extrinsic semiconductors, students. Put the side heading, extrinsic semiconductors. Hope you understood how an intrinsic semiconductor conducts electricity. There we have seen it conducts electricity both by the electrons present in the conduction band and the positive holes present in the valence band. Okay, so how it happened also we have seen, students. Now, what is this extrinsic semiconductor? Here, this is also an intrinsic semiconductor, but intrinsic semiconductor we have seen it is extremely pure, students. That means it doesn't contain any impurities, and we have also seen that how it conducts electricity. Now, the conductivity of a pure intrinsic semiconductor can be increased by adding small amounts of impurities. So after adding impurities to an intrinsic semiconductor, it converts into an extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, a small impurity, if you add, the conductivity of an intrinsic semiconductor increases. Now, what are these impurities called as, students? We call them as dopants or doping agents. Okay, so I have written, students, the conductivity of an intrinsic semiconductor increases by adding small amounts of impurities called as doping agents or dopants. Okay, now this process of adding a dopant or a doping agent to a pure intrinsic semiconductor to increase its conductivity is called as doping. What is meant by doping, students? The process of adding a dopant or a doping agent to a pure intrinsic semiconductor to enhance its conductivity is called as doping. Okay, now, so how the conductivity of an intrinsic semiconductor is increasing by addition of a dopant, students. So when you are adding this dopant, the gap between Cb and Vb, what happens? It's being reduced. That means the energy gap becomes smaller after adding an impurity to an intrinsic semiconductor. So you all know the width of the energy gap tells us the amount of energy required. So when this energy gap is being reduced, when it is becoming smaller, what happens? Less energy is required and also more number of electrons jump from Vb to Cb. So likewise, its conductivity property increases. So how much faster the electrons flow from Vb to Cb, that much will be its conductivity. Okay. Now, students, finally, basing on the nature of the doping agent that we are adding, extrinsic semiconductors are being classified into two types. Basing on the nature of the doping agent added, extrinsic semiconductors are divided into two types. So, students, put the first side heading, N-type extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductors basing on the doping agent, they can be classified into two types. First one, N-type extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, so now how this N-type extrinsic semiconductor is being formed, students. So we have seen extrinsic semiconductor means adding small amounts of dopants to a pure intrinsic semiconductor. So which impurity is being added to get N-type extrinsic semiconductor? So here I have written, look here, students. To a pure intrinsic semiconductor, if we add small amounts of pentavalent atom, for example arsenic, then we can we obtain n-type extrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so n-type extrinsic semiconductor is obtained by adding small amounts of pentavalent atoms to a pure intrinsic semiconductor. For example, here arsenic is being added to germanium. So pentavalent, what is the meaning of pentavalent, students? It has 5 valency electrons. So this is being added to germanium. Germanium is tetravalent. That means it has only 4 valency electrons. Now what does this arsenic do with its 5 valency electrons? Okay, it forms 4 covalent bonds with the neighboring germanium atoms using its 4 valency electrons. Total how many valency electrons it has, students? 5. So how many covalent bonds it is forming with germanium? 4. Utilizing how many valency electrons? 4. So out of 5, 4 valency electrons are utilized in the bond formation with the adjacent germanium atoms. So how many electrons are remaining with the arsenic, students? 5 minus 4 is 1. So 1 electron is attached loosely to the parent atom, that is arsenic. So I have shown this diagrammatic representation adding arsenic to germanium. So arsenic has formed 4 covalent bonds with the adjacent 4 germanium atoms using its 4 valency electrons, and 1 electron is attached to it loosely. When electric field is applied, what happens? This loosely attached electron or the excess electron present in valence band, it jumps into the conduction band, students. See, look here, when electric field is applied, the excess electrons, that is the excess electrons which are loosely attached to the parent atom, they move to conduction band from valence band. Hence, the conduction in n-type extrinsic semiconductor is due to movement of excess electrons present. Okay, students, here you can see only that excess electron loosely attached to the parent impurity atom, that will be moving to the conduction band. And here also we observe no hole is being created. So the conductivity of n-type extrinsic semiconductor depends upon the number of excess electrons present in it. So last and final, students, under n-type extrinsic semiconductor, please write down these 2 sentences also, that electrical conductivity depends upon the number of excess electrons present in the conduction band. Okay, so here no positive hole is being created, students, and also the impurity atom donates excess electrons without leaving any positive hole. Okay, so here only the excess electrons are responsible for the flow of current, students. Okay, so write down, the impurity atom donates electrons to conduction band without leaving any positive hole in the valence band, and thus electrons are the only charge carriers. Whereas in intrinsic semiconductor, we have seen both the electrons and also the positively charged holes are responsible for the flow of current, students. Okay, here only the excess electrons are responsible for the flow of current, and they are the only charge carriers. So that is about n-type extrinsic semiconductor, students. Okay, so pure ISC plus small amount of pentavalent atom gives n-type extrinsic semiconductor. Next one is p-type extrinsic semiconductor, students. Put the side heading p-type extrinsic semiconductors. So how is a p-type extrinsic semiconductor being formed, students? Here also, to a pure intrinsic semiconductor, for example germanium, we add small amounts of trivalent atoms. What's the meaning? Trivalent, students, which has only 3 valency electrons. For example, if we take boron or aluminium, they have only 3 valency electrons. Now, this is being added to a pure intrinsic semiconductor. For example, germanium. Again, I am asking you, germanium is tetravalent. That means how many valency electrons does it have? It has 4 valency electrons. Now, we are adding boron, which is trivalent. So, how does it match between these two? Okay. So, look here students, I have drawn the diagram. Boron with its 3 valency electrons, how many covalent bonds can it form, students? It can form only 3 covalent bonds with the adjacent germanium atoms. But here, if you look here, there is an electron with germanium, but there is no electron with boron. So, the 4th bond of this germanium is incomplete, by which we say there forms a positively charged hole. Okay, that hole, what happens? It moves to the next atom. So, next atom, it moves to the next atom means how does it happen? It takes up the electron from this atom, a new bond is formed, this will be broken and the hole will be formed here. So, this hole will be moving throughout the entire structure when electric field is applied. Okay. So, below this diagram you can write, students, the atom of doping agent forms 3 covalent bonds with 3 atoms of intrinsic semiconductor. For example, germanium with its 3 valency electrons. Okay. Now, one of the 4 covalent bonds in germanium is left incomplete. So, next write down, students. Thus, a positive hole is created. So, what I explained, you can write the notes for that, students. Thus, a positive hole is created, and when electric field is applied or when it is connected to an electrical circuit, the hole, it moves to the adjacent atom. How it moves to the adjacent atom, students? By accepting the electron from the next atom, and a new covalent bond is formed. A new covalent bond is formed. New covalent bond is formed means the existing covalent bond will be broken. So, that's what I have continued here. By breaking existing covalent bond. So, existing covalent bond is broken means a new hole is created. Creating a new hole near the next atom. Okay. Creating a new hole in the next atom. Full stop. Below write down, students. This movement of holes, this movement of positively charged holes in a p-type extrinsic semiconductor, in a p-type extrinsic semiconductor is nothing but movement of the positive charges. So, students, positively charged holes means nothing but the positive charges. Okay, it is movement of the positive charges. Full stop. Hence, conduction in a p-type extrinsic semiconductor is due to the positively charged holes which are in excess. Underline that sentence, students. So, conduction in a p-type extrinsic semiconductor is due to positively charged holes which are in excess. Okay, students. So, this is about p-type extrinsic semiconductor. So, under extrinsic semiconductor, we have seen p-type and n-type, students. N-type is formed by adding small amounts of pentavalent atoms to pure intrinsic semiconductor, and p-type extrinsic semiconductors are formed by adding small amounts of trivalent atoms to a pure intrinsic semiconductor. So here only positively charged holes are responsible for the movement of electrons or for the flow of electricity in a p-type extrinsic semiconductor, whereas in n-type extrinsic semiconductor, the excess electrons donated by the impurity atom, they are responsible for the flow of electrons. That means they are responsible for the electrical conductivity. Okay, and this is all about students' classification of or types of semiconductors. So what did we learn, students? We have learned band theory of semiconductors, and later we have seen classification of semiconductors, under which we have intrinsic and extrinsic. So under extrinsic, again they are divided into n-type and p-type depending upon the or basing on the nature of the doping agent added. So students, this is all for today's class. Hope you have understood right today's topic. So we will meet in the next class with a new topic, students. Okay, so what all we have learned, please practice it. Don't delay, students, in the evening. Please kindly learn this topic and be ready. Please be prepared for your exams. Until then, students, stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.